And welcome back, everyone, to Two Jocks and One Schlub. I can't say it. It's
Wow.
been on a little bit of a break here, but good to have
Yeah,
Ethan
we
and
can
Colin and Matt back
we
in
we
one
can
room.
tell.
Dude, people have been clamoring for the
Oh.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait till you see some of the things I have to share with you later. We won't save it to the very end, but I'm not going to do it right away. But we have some fan feedback. We have some mailbag questions, things that I only looked briefly at these questions, and they're going to be pretty crazy. So
Okay. All right.
I won't ruin all the fun, but
Well,
My
my
apologies to all
appetite.
the
going
fans
on?
out there missing their weekly dose of nonsense. But I mean, we had to short things up. We had to get our houses in order and make sure we're ready to go into year two.
Yep.
Stronger and wackier than ever.
We are officially renewing with our friends Blue Wire. So thank you to the boys in blue. That is official. If I had my soundboard up, I would clap, but maybe you guys can give a little clap.
Yay.
So yep, we're
See,
we're
this
good
is
to go.
this is very
Going
exciting
on.
because I assumed, for all the listeners out there, I assumed we were getting fired. But it turns out we got renewed. And then I also thought the opposite. I figure when this episode drops that everybody is gonna, it's gonna like show up on their feed or whatever and be like, oh yeah, I forgot that thing exists. Who are those people again? As opposed to, the clamoring, the supposed clamoring. So I'm eager to hear more about this.
Well, let me tell you, I am working on great guests this year. A little bit of teasers. I've got a professional brewer, entrepreneur, and an actor in
All
a
right, this is
famous
exciting.
couple of motion pictures. Oh, and they're all the same person. Ooh, I want him to come on, and as well as a couple other folks. So you guys, stay tuned. Because season 2 is going to bring it.
Wow! Holy shit! All right, I'm excited.
Yeah, we got some good stuff, and even talking with Andrew, shout out to Andrew, our Blue Wire connection, just talking about some potential collabs with some Blue Wire peeps, and actually we're gonna probably talk to you guys about it, but I figured we could get Andrew back on. The Yankees keep winning, like let's dive deep into the Yankees. I mean, yeah, let's have some fun while we can. So
yeah,
it's okay. So speaking of the Yankees, we're gonna get to them in just a second because I have some really hilarious things to talk about. But let's do a few quick hitters. Let's get people warmed up with things first. As always, well, not as always, but I've been better lately. My name is Colin. I'm here with Ethan and Matt. We are two jocks and a schlub, and we are going to talk about our beer. So it looks like all of us are drinking for the first time in a long time. What's on deck?
Ethan, you start us off. You got the.
Right. So those our regular fans of the pod have been following the saga of me and Matt being suckers for other half and all of the random little themed packs that they do. Pure like marketing ploys, but we can't help ourselves, right? And so
Marketing
currently
works.
Yeah, right. So currently I'm working my way through the Munchies week pack.
For 420.
For 420, right. So other half names a bunch of their beers after like just random food and vegetables and shit. And of course 420, Munchies. So they just released a bunch of their beers that are like that. So the one that I am drinking tonight is called American Cheese. There is no American cheese. I haven't tasted it yet, but I assume it's not going to taste like American cheese. It's just another half IPA. They just happen to name their beers. Like the one I had a couple nights ago was crudité. There's like a broccoli one, and there's
and that crudité was like a triple. That was
it was 10%. Yeah, it was
10%.
10%. Yeah, that one was legit.
Give that American cheese a sip. I'm interested.
So this is the one that there's like a giant foam thingy that like right in the middle. I don't think I can get the camera to show it. There's like this. So it's probably I was avoiding it because it's probably gonna get all over my nose. But
so for the listeners, Ethan mentioned the large foam head, and I told him what's the
it's pretty good.
Verdict. Sometimes for an older beer, that can be an indication of oxidation. Now I would be very surprised if that was happening in another half beer. But I took my damn time getting these shipped to Ethan.
But still, it shouldn't be a month old though. Yeah, but only at a month. They shouldn't be oxidizing at a month, right?
Yeah, but I didn't. There was like 3 days where they weren't in the fridge. They were just in the cold garage.
Yeah.
Back when it was 50 degrees out. So yeah, I was worried. But
I mean, it tastes fine. It doesn't taste like What are the taste signs of oxidation? I know we've talked about that
Wet
before.
cardboard.
Wet
That's the best
cardboard.
way I can say it. Wet
Yeah, it doesn't
cardboard.
taste. It still tastes like solid. Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, yeah.
Well, speaking of marketing employees, we've got the Citra Week box coming up. So I was already excitedly talking through with Ethan and Colin about the Citra Week box, which we will be bringing to the house of Cernelia in a couple weeks for his Memorial Day soiree. So we will all be able to try it. And the wonderful variety of beers that Other Half has got this time around. So, but what do you get out of 5? What's your rating for the American cheese, Ethan?
I think this one will get a 4. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think.
You want to go? You want me to go? Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. I think if it was fresher, maybe or some. I don't know, but it tastes good. Yeah, it's a 4 is still really solid.
Put it in front of you. Yeah, there you go. Carolina Tropical,
Mackay Brewing, Ocean Isle Beach, North Carolina. I was just at the beach last week. There's a nice little brewery not down the street, but a 8-minute drive from my parents' place, and
sweet.
It's a nice brewery for a beach town. There's actually another brewery in Calabash, I think is what it's called, and I forget what the name of the brewery is. That's actually a really nice brewery for being around a little beach town. But this is okay. It's an IPA. I was just looking. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've had it before. I gave it a 3.5 back in the day when I had it for the first time. So that's roughly what I was thinking even before I looked it up. So
not bad though, especially for a beach town brewery.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of a throwback to the pre-hazy days.
Wow, there was a world before hazies.
I know, right? And they used to be dominated by West Coast IPAs, and I've got a collab from the 2 breweries in Ohio that make some of the best West Coast IPAs out there. It's called Cry Ohio. It's a collaboration between Fatheads Brewing and Columbus Brewing Company. Now, Fatheads makes a beer called Headhunter, and Columbus makes a beer called Bodie, that are both considered some of the best West Coast IPAs in the country. For a while, Bodie was like my favorite beer in Ohio before the hazies came. And then Headhunter is one of those beers that I always know I'm going to like, no matter what. Like, pick it up on the shelf. It's usually like a week old, and it's just delicious every time. So they put their heads together and decided to brew a collab Imperial West Coast IPA with cryo hops, which is just another way that hop makers are trying to enhance their beer. So they're actually like freeze drying their hops. It's and it's not pelletized, it's not wet hopped, it's cryo hopped. So it's a freeze drying process that's supposed to get like even more concentrated hop flavor, from as quick as they can pick it to freeze it. So it's I give it a 4 1/4. I like it a lot. They even call out Yakima Chief hops. They're partnering directly with one of the big hop growers out west in Washington to try and get the most flavor in this. But it's really good. It's a good representation of 2 of my favorite breweries in Ohio. So if you guys get a chance and ever find yourself in Ohio, get yourself some Headhunter, get yourself some Bodie. You won't be disappointed. Get yourself some fresh Headhunter, fresh Bodie. You won't be disappointed.
Matt, did we go to Fatheads when I came to Cleveland?
Yes, we did. Okay. That's the giant place we went to.
Okay. Sweet.
So they have had a meteoric rise. They've just they built a brewery in a giant warehouse, and then we're like, oh, this isn't big enough. So they moved down the road and built like a brewery 3 times the size.
Damn.
And they sold their initial brewery to another up-and-coming Cleveland brewery, to a competitor that was an up-and-coming brew pub, which is also really cool. Like, they were like, hey, you guys need a brewery, here you go.
This reminds me really quickly, this is somewhat related. Matt, did you see, this was like a few weeks ago now, I think, Treehouse posted pictures of like a new place that it's buying. Like
the Country Club.
Yeah, like where is that? Like Martha's Vineyard or Cape Cod or some shit?
Oh shoot, I don't remember.
It's some ritzy area, I think, and it looked fucking insane.
Begins with T.
But... Yeah, I was like, holy shit. I mean, those who are like beer people know obviously Treehouse is one of the very, very best, and Matt and I will occasionally drink them and have had some, I think, on the show before. And they have several beautiful locations in New England. They're out of Massachusetts, and they just bought a new location. They just posted about it on social media a few weeks ago, and I had meant to text you about it because it looks fucking epic. Yeah. It looks insane. Yeah.
So they started in Monson, right, and they moved down the road to Charlton.
Charlton. Yep.
And
That's the
Charlton
one I
is
went to,
like,
I think. Yeah.
it's just for all you nerds, it's like fucking beer Disney World. Like the place is amazing. The thing is, and then they bought this place in Deerfield, which is just in Western Massachusetts, and that looks amazing. It looks like Willy Wonka's beer chocolate factory, and they've got a pizza restaurant there. Then they bought a place in the Sandwich, Massachusetts, which is worth it just for the name Sandwich. But that's on the coast near the Cape. So they've got like all sides of the state covered, and they bought a country club, and they own a big farm.
I think they're doing well.
Massachusetts, and it's like they don't need to distribute. They make an enormous amount of beer, but they can sell it through their channels, and it's excellent. They have done an incredible job. You know, hazy beers don't scale up easily. There's a lot of places that tried making hazy beers on massive scales, and they suck. And it took Treehouse a little while to figure it out, but they've done it, and it's amazing. There was when they opened their big brewery in Charlton, it was kind of, they had about a 3 or 4 month period where everyone was kind of scratching their head going, you know, this doesn't taste right. Well, newsflash, it does now. They figured it out. And that's part of their mission statement. Just go to the website and read it. Like they talk about their mission statement as an unrelenting dedication to quality, and they mean it. And it's insane. Colin, I would love to take you there.
Yeah.
I'd love to take you and Toddy and your daughter there as well, because it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, get Stella drunk on some strong Treehouse IPAs.
I mean, it's a really cool place.
Actually, their stouts are delicious too. Matt and I have split a couple of their like specialty stouts.
They
do. Yeah, they're fucking top notch across the board.
And the other thing, Ethan, they just announced, Colin, they just released for the first time ever their first milkshake IPA. Their first IPA with lactose is what they said.
I'm going to be going. I'll be going to Connecticut to visit my parents sometime soon, probably in the next couple of months. So I'll make a Treehouse run when I'm up there, and I'll get whatever you guys want me to get. There. Yeah. Or yeah, I guess it's not that long of a drive for you anymore, huh?
Not anymore.
Yeah, true. And you're crazy enough that you'll fucking drive 6 hours just to hang out at Treehouse for an afternoon with me.
You just got to convince your parents, at least one of your parents, to come with you.
Yeah. Oh, if you're around, I think they would probably do it. I mean, they would want to see you for sure. Yeah, they would be thrilled to see you. They might even. I don't know how often they listen. Dad, Mom, if you're listening.
Oh well. Speaking of that, I'm going to steal this from you, Ethan. Happy birthday, Jim Arts, if you're listening. Happy birthday.
How the fuck do you remember that? My dad's birthday is tomorrow. I don't know how Matt knows that or remembers that, but my dad's birthday is tomorrow. So yeah, May 19th. So if he listens, that's amazing. And even if he doesn't, Jeremy will hear this, and you know, one of us will tell him that you did that. But
Jeremy, I hope you watched the YouTube video, because I just freaked out a bit there. But
Yeah.
I can't believe you remembered. Holy shit. For those who don't know, I think I've already complained about this on the podcast, but Matt's memory is fucking insane. And it really makes me ashamed of myself, like, all the time, because I can't remember anything. I think we've talked about this, right? I can remember
music and baseball stats.
Music and baseball and nothing else. Whereas Matt will remember like all of these, like, you know, important personal stories, things that we have done together and things like this. And I'm like, you could be making that up. I don't remember this at all. And now apparently he remembers my dad's birthday.
Guys, so it'll get to the point where Ethan will send me articles being like, well, researchers say that a lot of these memories are just things you've made up. And I'm like, no, I'm not making this up.
Yes, you and my brother both need to see those articles. It's a real thing, though. Like, fake memories is like a real thing. I'm not saying that it happens to you guys necessarily, but in any case, good memory on that, though. Holy shit. Yeah, very impressed.
Good stuff. All right, so I've got 4 topics. One is which we're going to start with non-baseball. Then we're going to move into baseball. We're going to get a little deeper into baseball. And then we're going to move to the fun stuff with our lovely listeners who sent in plenty of stuff during our couple weeks off here. And the first topic, either you didn't see the release because neither one of you care about college football, or you're too embarrassed to talk about the matchup because you know you're going to get blown up. But Penn State, Syracuse, back on the schedule, 2027. I think the first one's at the Dome, and then the next year is at Happy Valley.
2027.
That's how they do things in college football.
How much is Penn State paying for a win?
Doesn't matter. Win's a win.
Yeah, I don't care about college football enough. I had no idea.
For those who are uneducated, Power 5 teams will often pay non-Power 5 conferences for like if Ohio State wants to play Kent State, they'll be like, hey, Kent State, come to Ohio State this weekend. We'll give you $500,000.
Oh,
And
so
Kent
we can
State's
stomp
like,
you, and
yeah,
but
like
Kent
Kent
State
State's like, okay, good. This will fund our athletic budget for the rest of the year. Okay.
Honestly, that kind of makes sense. Actually,
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
that's a smart deal all around, kind of. Yeah.
Although
So,
that
I mean,
is
yeah,
obviously not the case with this because Syracuse is not a Power
yeah, but
5 school.
I'm still betting that
Or
Penn
they
State's
are a
paying
Power 5.
Syracuse, but probably not $500,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's part of the larger economics of college football. I mean, Ohio State's going to sell out the Horseshoe for a game like that. They'll make $10 million that weekend or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm just throwing a number out there, but if it's 100,000 seats and $100 a seat, then they'll make $10 million that weekend. So they can afford to do that.
Is Syracuse football decent again or no? What's been going on? No, weren't they like solid a few years ago with like this Dino Babbers or whatever?
They had a
Great
10
name by
games
the
one
name,
year.
huh?
They won 10 games one year.
Yeah.
So actually, our podcast, we should have a name Hall of Fame. Obviously, Stubby Clapp is number one always and forever, but Dino Babbers should be up there. That's a pretty amazing
I think
name.
it's Babers, but
Aw, I thought there were two B's. I thought it was Babbers.
it's 1B.
Dino Babers. I mean, that's still pretty good. Babbers would be better, but Dino Babers is good too. Yeah, you're right, Kyle. Yeah, just one second B there. Dino Babers.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's still good. We can still put him in the Hall of Fame, I think.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys in Syracuse in 2027. Enjoy the game.
Oh my God.
All right. Next 3 topics. We're gonna
Oh wait,
play.
Ethan. Here's another Hall of Fame name.
Yeah.
Louis Taint.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wait. There's a guy. I was thinking because what's close is Louis Tiant. Yeah, and I was like, wait, did Matt misread that?
I misread it. Okay.
You did, okay.
Oh,
That's too bad. I got hopeful that there was an actual Louis Taint.
Oh no.
No, you just misread Louis Tiant. My dad talks about him occasionally. I think he was in his prime, like maybe in the late 70s, 80s. I feel like.
Okay,
70s,
sorry.
I think,
I'll redeem myself. Pie Trainer.
Oh, well, that is classic. Yeah, I mean, if we could do a whole episode about this. So Pie Trainer is one of these ancient baseball players from the early days, right? So if you go back, like seriously, if you're ever bored one day, pull up baseballreference.com and just go and look at team rosters from like the late 1800s and the early 1900s. You've got several decades you can pick from, right? It doesn't matter if you choose 1910 or 1898, whatever. You pick like those few decades. If you go in that time, the names back then, oh my God, fucking insane. Pie Trainer is just scratching the surface. Like I don't remember them all off the top of my head or whatever, but absolutely, like I don't know what happened between then and now. Names are so much more boring now, but back then, I mean, come on, Pie Trainer. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Honus Wagner, like even that, like I think we take that for granted because he's such a legend and he's Honus Wagner. He's one of the best of all time. But think about that objectively for a second, right? If you're not a huge baseball fan and somebody says, oh yeah, there's this guy, Honus Wagner, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Like that is an insane name. So yeah, just tons of gems when you go back in that time.
All right, Colin, I interrupted you. Sorry. What's the next topic?
You're good. It's a game. It's called Happy, Dark, Meh. And for each, I want you to give me your opinion. And it should match happy, dark, or meh.
Meh being like MEH, like meh.
Meh.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So the first topic is happy. As of today is what? Wednesday, May 18th at 9:10 p.m. The Los Angeles Angels occupy a playoff spot. Thus, Ohtani and Trout would be playing October baseball if the season ended today. Obviously, we were a long ways away, but they've gotten off to a great start. Super exciting. I think the Yankees actually play the Angels in 2 weeks or so at the stadium.
Quickly, yeah.
So I'm super pumped. I would love. Nothing would make me happier than the Angels beating out the Astros, but the Astros have been playing really well lately. Just get to the playoffs, though. Give them a chance.
Yes, 100%. I actually happened to just look at all the standings today, just randomly, because I hadn't looked in a while, and I was curious, like across the league, right? And I saw that the Angels were in first. I didn't realize, and same exact thing. Super pumped. Really, really, really fingers crossed that Shohei and Trout both can stay healthy and that they can make the playoffs. Because how good for baseball and how fun would that be as a baseball fan to have those two playing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Would just be so fucking good.
Very happy.
Yep.
Very happy indeed.
All right. So we moved to dark. Pitcher Matt Harvey was suspended 60 games for being the supplier to the late Tyler Skaggs, who died from an opioid overdose again. Unsurprising, there was information that had come out a couple months ago linking the possibility of this, but just at the end of the day, very sad. And Harvey in himself is a very sad story in the sense of how dominant he was back when the Mets were in the World Series in 2015 and the Dark Knight and all this type of stuff. And he's really taken a dark turn for his career. And now just knowing that he was the actual supplier for Tyler, who tragically passed away. But just really sad. And it's in a way, I think, gone a little bit unnoticed because the Skaggs death was so long ago and because Harvey is no longer a superstar. But at the same time, I hope there's some lessons that Major League Baseball took out of this, and hopefully they can prevent it from happening again.
I'm going to go not dark enough, though. He's still on a Major League roster. He's on the Orioles roster. I think they missed out. The major leagues missed out on a chance to make a statement.
Okay.
And I think they should have either suspended them for a year or for at least, or potentially forever.
So now, was there fentanyl in the stuff that Skaggs OD'd on? Is that what happened? Mm-hmm. Now, did Harvey know that there was fentanyl in it?
I think so.
Do we know? Because to me, this is like the kind of the crux of the matter. Like, and I think I talked about this last time we brought this up on the pod a few months ago. And I don't know enough about, I don't know the details of the case, which is why I'm asking. I'm curious. But like, if Harvey didn't know that there was fentanyl, like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but people are selling oxy to each other all the fucking time everywhere. And if you start like thinking of everybody who's distributing it as like somebody who needs to go to prison, I mean, I don't know. It's just obviously we have all these drug laws, but we also know that they don't do shit, that they're not effective, right? So to me, like, this country is just weird to me because we're all about individual responsibility, right? And if you buy some illicit drugs, you are kind of taking on a responsibility of, well, these are illicit drugs, and I'm hoping that they're going to be what I thought they were going to be, but who knows? Now, granted, if Harvey knew that there was fentanyl, okay, all right, I can kind of see where we're getting at here. But if he just thought this was some regular ass oxy, like, come on, how many times do you think professional athletes are passing around oxy? Like,
yeah, but wasn't there the comment that Skaggs made about like those are the pills from Harvey, the pink ones, those are the good ones?
Is that right? Okay, and this is why I wanted to know more details about it.
There was knowledge there that there was an extra kick in the Harvey stuff.
Yeah. Okay. And so maybe they didn't know that fentanyl is what it was and that it could be lethal or something, but it was known maybe that they were extra strong for some reason or something.
Yeah. And I agree with you, Matt. Like I originally thought when I saw the suspension that I said when I texted you guys about it didn't really seem harsh enough given the fact that somebody's dead. I wonder though if that's part of the CBA in terms of what you can actually do in terms of, just like it is if you violate the drug protocols with steroids, for example, like they can't just wipe you out of the game.
Yeah.
You have to follow the protocol because that's the agreement that the union made. So I don't know for sure. I'd have to look into it, but I would imagine that has something to do with why it's a 60-game suspension, because that's the first offense if you 60 or 80 games, right? If you test positive for steroid. So
80.
Yeah.
82.
And but by the way, I'm not saying I'm not like condoning like the dealing of opioids and the taking of opioids, right? Obviously we know that is a truly horrendous problem in this country and has been getting worse each of the last few years. I mean, haven't we broken 100,000 like opioid overdose deaths the last 2 years? So obviously this is like a fucking endemic, right? This is really horrible. So I'm not condoning that. Just wondering, I feel like it probably unknowingly happens a lot, and I think maybe there, I would guess I was just saying that maybe there's some gray area in some of these situations,
Yep.
not necessarily in this one.
No, I get that. I get
That's
that.
all I'm saying. But in any case, yeah, fucking pretty wild. And Skaggs was only 27. I'm just reading about it right now.
Yeah. All right, let's segue into meh. We talked about this, that we were going to follow up on this on a podcast episode, and we haven't since then. So we need to talk about it because I think it's still relevant. Clayton Kershaw was taken out of a game in late April in the 7th inning when he had an opportunity to throw just a no-hitter, right? Not a perfect game.
Shit, what was
I think
it?
It was just no-hitter, yeah.
Yeah.
And so for those who don't know, the difference between a no-hitter and a perfect game is you can walk somebody, you can hit a batter, you can have an error, and that would constitute still as a no-hitter as long as you didn't give up any hits. Whereas a perfect game, it's literally 27 up, 27 down. That's it. And
no one reaches base.
No one reaches base. Yeah.
Yeah. So no double plays or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. Yep. No double plays. So for me, the reason I put it under the meh is because like Kersh is already on the injured list.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't see this
since then. And like, I mean, just come on. The even though there's been way more no-hitters in Major League Baseball history than there's been perfect games.
It was a perfect game. I just looked it up. It was a perfect game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that maybe changes it a little bit, but continue.
That does change it a little bit, because I was just going to say, like, regardless, I guess, the possibility, the probability of it happening is probably pretty low, even if you get through 7 full innings. Like those last 2 innings, they have to be the hardest innings, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, like the pressure's building, everybody's aware, you're getting tired, you know, and I mean,
you don't have your best stuff anymore.
Yeah. He already doesn't have his best stuff.
Yeah,
so.
Just at this point in his career, he's been injury prone for years at this point, right?
Yeah, he hasn't thrown. I saw somebody when he went on the IL about a week ago. He hasn't thrown, I think, over 180 innings or something like that since 2015.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yep. He threw 178 and 175 in 2019 and 2017, respectively. But yeah, he hasn't thrown more than 180 innings since 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, meh. Like the Reds just threw a no-hitter and lost.
Meh. I know, that's kind of crazy though, because that hasn't happened very much in history. So that's kind of interesting.
6 times.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool, right? Because it's so rare. In the case of Kersh, like I understand that, like as a fan, it was pretty disappointing. You know, and I'm sure as a Dodgers fan, it was probably even worse than just being a baseball fan, you know, or a fan of Kersh like we are just outside of being a Dodgers fan. But I do think it was the smart move based on Kershaw's injury history and what his tendencies have been as a pitcher the last few years. And he even said so after the game. He said it was the right move. Now, maybe he was just being diplomatic, right? Like he's known to be a very like kind of classy guy and everything like that. But it seems to be, I don't know. It seems to me like it was a good move. And Kyle, like you said, he's already fucking on the IL. I didn't know that, which is a bummer. But you know, they were thinking long term, and it's understandable. He's only 34, but he's been having these injury problems, and you want to make his career last as long as possible. And if he were to throw, how many pitches was he at? Like 80 something, or was he already up to 100? Do you remember?
No idea.
But like I think Joe Paz wrote about this. So Johan Santana, former great pitcher for the Twins and Mets, especially for the Twins, he threw a no-hitter for the Mets back in I think 2012, and he threw like 134 pitches, which was a fuck ton for the modern era. Like that's unheard of now. In 2012, it still happened occasionally. But he was never the same after that. Yeah, like and granted, that's just one example, and you can't say that would happen to everybody. But we do know, right? I mean, there is data about pitch counts. This is something that everybody pays attention to for a reason. And so I'm sure that there was data about Kershaw and about his pitch count and things like that made them think long term this is the smarter move. So
yeah. And there has been a combined no-hitter this year. There has been a no-hitter that a team lost, and then there was an actual no-hitter thrown by a pitcher who threw a full game. The Angels. I forget who
Oh
it was.
yeah. Fuck. What was his name? I just saw it the other day. I was just
I
Reed
don't know.
Detmers or something like that. Detmer.
Yeah. But the dude from the Reds who threw the no-hitter that when they lost on Sunday,
He's a big prospect. Hunter
yeah,
Green.
yeah. Coney was talking about him on the podcast. Like he's coming into his own. Like he's going to be. I mean, they're going to deal probably Castillo and maybe Votto and
Yeah, I
whatever.
feel bad for
I
Votto.
just saw
Jesus.
Juan Soto's up for sale by the Nats and everything.
No
So
shit, really? He's going to be a
well,
Yankee
the
at some
GM
point.
said he'll listen to offers about unloading him.
Okay.
So
Well, it's funny because I was actually thinking like, what if we did like what is it, a Luis Heel and
Gil got hurt tonight.
oh damn.
Oh, to get fucking to get Soto, we would have to.
Jason Dominguez, Joey
Okay.
Gallo, Luis Heel, and who's that
Gil.
other that pitcher with a W name that everyone's was Newski or whatever. There's a pitcher that, like maybe we get him for the Nationals. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be Gil anymore because he pointed to his elbow and said, "I'm done," and came off the mound tonight.
Fuck. That's not good.
Yep.
I think the only way we would get Soto in a trade, we'd have to get rid of Volpe, Dominguez, and
Volpe
like
would
Peraza too, or like we'd have to,
We don't
all
need
of the
anyway. Just fucking pay Judge, pay the man.
Yes.
99.
Yeah, pay him seriously.
care that he's 30 years old.
There was an added bonus to my proposal, and that it gets rid of Joey Gallo.
Yeah. You wanted us to fucking take that bait and get all into a thing.
Wait. This is great, actually, though, because this will segue us nicely into talking about the Yankee paranoia that is so real right now across Major League Baseball, as the Yankees, as of today, have the best record in Major League Baseball. And the reason I'm talking about the Yankee paranoia is not just because friend of the podcast, Joe Posnanski and Michael Schur just did half of a podcast episode on Yankee paranoia, but I was listening to our past podcasts, little friends here that I have, Ethan and Matt, and I was listening to our predictions early in the year, and it seemed like you guys were super high on this team from Toronto.
I still am. It's only May 18th, pal. Okay.
But in those episodes, you also were giving me shit about my 104 win prediction, and I don't know. As of right now, that's looking pretty good.
As of now, you're looking good. It's only May 18th.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And also, here's the other thing too. And I don't know if we talked about this when we did our predictions, but I'll give a little personal history here to the listeners. So some of you may know, we may have talked about this. Colin and I lived together for a couple of years. Back in like 2013 to 2015, we lived together. As big boys, as adults, doing life and stuff, and we happened to live together. Also, one of those years we lived with Brother Dan. Shout out to Brother Dan. So what we found at the time, and we've kind of maintained this a little bit over the years, and obviously people who know me know I don't go in for superstition, but this one's fun. Basically what happens is I bash the Yankees and I talk about like how much they suck and how little faith I have in them. And Colin is always like the opposite. He's always like, he's optimistic and he's very faithful and he believes, right? And usually that mix, it's like the right mix, like it even happened the other day. And of course, this is all just like random coincidences, but what were we were texting? Who was it Glaber? Maybe I was talking shit about somebody in our text thread.
It was Glaber, yeah. The hard hits.
Yeah, and then like literally he had like a 2-run double like into the gap like after that or something like that.
Yeah, and then a rocket up the middle.
So this is all key. This is all part of the plan. Me getting really high on the Blue Jays and talking about how I doubt the Yankees. It was all part of the plan. So,
well, the reason that the paranoia is so real is because and so especially Mike Schur does a really good job at explaining this, but like the reason that people get so upset about the Yankees is because like, all right, you expect Judge, you expect Cole, you expect Stanton like to have good years. Like those are the expectations, but it's the crazy things like Joey Gallo could be batting $150. And then he comes up on Sunday night with, the Yankees had the lead, but trying to give him some breathing room and hits a bomb. A 2-run homer puts the game out of reach, and the Yankees take 3 out of 4 from the White Sox, who, again, as I've said on this podcast many times, are one of the most overrated teams in baseball. And so it's just like those type of things happen all the time. And whether it was like Luke Voigt when he first came over and some of that other black
wait. How many RBI does he have though?
Okay, who gives a fuck about RBIs? It's 2022, Matt.
And it doesn't matter. The paranoia is real though. When a guy who sucks as bad as Joey Gallo does.
No, Ethan, RBIs still matter.
They don't.
You don't win if you don't score runs.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so let's talk about actual runs scored, not RBIs. RBIs are a fucking it's a chance stat. It just, if you're lucky enough to come up to bat when there are lots of people on base, you're going to get a lot of RBIs. Doesn't matter if you're any good. You can suck, but if you're hitting at a point in the lineup where there's people who get on base a lot in front of you, over the course of like 500 at bats in a year, you're probably going to drive in 100 runs, even if you suck. RBIs are, I'm not saying that they're pointless. I'm just saying that they're overvalued.
They're overvalued.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And by the way, Matt, I'm coming more to your side on fucking Gallo. I told you that. I texted this the other day. I'm losing hope in him. I'm losing, it's been really difficult. Yeah, so, I think it was a great trade. I think Cashman was on the money. I think it was an awesome trade. I think it was smart, just like with Sonny Gray. But sometimes these things just don't pan out. These guys can't fucking handle it.
And Gallo is one run worse than an average player in terms of offense generated. So
So he has been not at all
off the street. He's
been horrible.
Run worse.
Yeah, no, he's been bad. He's been really bad. It's still May 18th. There's still time, technically speaking. Okay.
Jose Trevino has more WAR than he does.
Which is that is like the most damning thing. Yeah. So Matt sent this to our text thread today. I think it was today, right?
The part-time backup catch that we got for table scraps.
Yeah.
For the Rangers.
That's the most damning thing here. That's really devastating. That's horrible. That's really horrible.
Okay, Joey, suck in the field. That's fine. Or suck at the plate. That's fine. But make catches on routine fly balls to left field at least.
Hey, last night though, he instead of diving for that ball in the ninth inning when Chappie was doing his thing trying to blow the save, he kept it in front of him and preserved the win. So
Castro would have caught it.
No. Okay, now here's my question though, Matt. If Gallo turns it around, if he finally figures it out,
Matt's never going to give him credit. He still thinks
still
thinks Wilson Betemit was going to be a good player, and he hasn't played baseball in like 25 years.
You're a Scott Proctor, so shut the fuck up.
Oh my God, both of you are still fucking sour about that.
Ethan, go to your Gallo. Like if he turns it around.
I've got it pulled up. I'm looking at Gallo. Yeah.
If he turns it around, what you're about to say?
If he turns it around, I'm not going to ask you to like eat shit or anything like that. But like, if he turns it around, will you be like, okay, hey, he turned it around. This is good. I'm now a Gallo fan.
Turning it around to me means I need to see 4 to 5 WAR this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with that.
I need to see an average above 200.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I would say, so I'm looking at his career. He only broke 4 WAR once. The other years he was like 2 and 3. So I would be content if he hit 3. He only has gotten 3 or more WAR twice. I'd be content if he got to 3. But in general, I'm with you. Yes, he needs to have a batting average. And I don't give a shit about batting average, but goddamn, if it's under 200, it's just so ugly.
He had 4 WAR in 95 games with the Rangers last year. And then
wait, did he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was last year. That was only in 95 games. Holy fuck. Yeah, so he was so good last year with the Rangers.
He was 17 runs better than average, and then he got to the Yankees and he's been 3 worse.
And he was horrible, right? So I would, if he was worth 3 WAR this year, that would be decent. And if his on base, or let's say OPS, if he was to get his OPS up to like the 825, 850 range, that's like a very solid OPS. Then I would be like, all right, this is okay. So I don't know.
But like at least hit some sacrifice flies or something.
Something. Well, he
just crushed a 2-run homer in the 9th inning with 2 outs. 2 days ago.
And then a game that we were already ahead in.
Yeah.
He gave them the breathing room that they needed.
Yeah, which is cool. Yeah, so he hit a homer. That's cool. That's good. I'm saying what's a bummer though about this, and I think I've mentioned this before, right? Both on the pod and off the pod, is like if he does figure it out, Yankee Stadium is like a dream for him. He's a pull hitter and it's the short porch in right field. Like, oh yeah, I did talk. Like he could hit fucking 50 homers. Like if he actually found his swing, he could hit 50 homers in Yankee Stadium, So It would be pretty great if he did. We could have 350 homer hitters, right? Like if Gallo actually figured his shit out, Judge, Stanton, and him are all legit like 50 homer. Has there ever been 350 homer hitters on one team? I don't know if that's ever happened before.
Yeah.
I think two hitting 50 only happened once. I actually think I just saw something about this online. Yeah, I think Marison Mantle in 61. I think that was it. Yeah, I think MLB just posted about it. I think maybe their Instagram or something.
Yeah,
so can you imagine? Like Judge and Stanton could absolutely do it. There's no doubt. We know that, right? If they stay healthy. But if Gallo figured his shit out, we could literally have 350 homer hitters on the same team.
Although Judge leads the league in homers and he only has 14, and it's
what
it's
would
only May 18th. But
I wonder what he would be on pace for at this point. I mean, 14 seems solid to me.
Well, yeah, it seems kind of low for games. What the league leader would be.
Yeah.
36 divided by 162. So we're 1/5 of the way. So 14 times 5
would be like 45.
No, 65 or 70.
Yeah. Okay. So he's on pace for a lot.
Wow. Okay. I'm way off. All right. I guess that's better than what I thought. Anyway, I'm feeling good about my prediction. I will say really quick. I'm just really curious. What are you guys feeling that this is a special year so far? Are you waiting for the shoe to drop? Like,
no.
What's your feeling about things so far?
No, I feel every night the Yankees play, we're going to
win. So this is a very interesting question. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop, which says more about my attitude than anything else. Because what's really cool, right, is Kyle, you sent this to us in the group chat. What was it? Was it 22-8? Or something? There was a certain record where...
Oh, right. Yeah. I know what it's all their team history. They've started either like 22-8 or better 5 times, and they've won the World Series.
Yeah, it was more than that, right? It was like 8 times, and they won the pennant every single year, and they won the World Series every year except for one, which was 2003. And this year they started with that record, 22-8 or whatever it was. I can't remember exactly, but it was something like that. And now, I mean, right, they have the best, as we said, they have the best record in the majors. What are they, like 27-9 or something? Like, there's
3
no
outs
doubt
away from another win.
Yeah, like they're playing awesome. It's really great. I guess for whatever reason, I just, I still don't trust it. It's still so early, even though that start is pretty amazing and that those numbers are awesome. But Matthew,
Gallo tonight. 0 for 3 with 3 Ks.
Fuck.
1 walk probably, right?
Yeah, but guess what? Those are his 18th, 19th, and 20th Ks against the Orioles this year. The fucking Orioles.
Oh, that's really... See, okay. This is the shit. Oh, man, Matt is bringing it tonight. So not only does
looking things up today at work.
Not only does Trevino have more WAR, but he has struck out 20 times against the Orioles, who are fucking garbage. Man, I am like losing hope. I don't know if he can figure it out with us.
Last thing I'll say before we move on to the fan stuff. If the Yankees do something special this year, we're going to look back at that weekend where those fries were fucking awful.
The turning point. Yes. You know what, dude? If we have an amazing 104 win year and we win the pennant, I will eat those frozen fries 10 more times. Like I will absolutely worth it.
I will drive to DC and I will make Ethan eat some soggy bad microwave.
Those $13 Guinness blondes. Fucking, I'll do it again. Man. I'll do it again. Absolutely. If that's the fucking turn, totally worth it. Totally worth it. I love it. Yeah, because that's actually true though, right? Like, so they lost like 2 out of 3 to Baltimore that series, right?
Since then, I think they've only lost 4 games.
Yeah. Holy fuck. That's so funny. Okay. Amazing. Love it.
Yeah. Yep. All right, boys. Let's move into first. I'm going to give you some feedback that I got from the former Lorraine Stoddard, now Lorraine Pascarella.
Lorraine, oh my God! Man. Wait, hold on a second. Lorraine listens to this fucking podcast.
I knew this was going to get you guys.
Lorraine, you should come on.
Hi, Lorraine. Okay, so I have to tell a quick story. Lorraine and I played in Little League together, which is awesome. I think she was the only girl in Little League, like the 1 or 2 years that we played together, which is super cool. And then she and I also played in band together in high school. And awesome person. I haven't, seen her or talked to her in a million years, but she's awesome, and I am shocked. But anyways, continue.
Yeah, well, the feedback, and it's nothing crazy, but she just said that Matt, Ethan, our podcast. I'm trying to read it in a way that makes sense to the listeners. Cracks her up. She said she really enjoys the baseball banter. So if she's serious, she'll enjoy today's episode as well.
Sweet. Shout out to Lorraine. That's amazing. Love it.
All right. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions.
What, 7? Jesus Christ.
7. So can't go too long on them.
I'll just zip my lips and let you guys answer.
Some of these questions are going to be super difficult. Again, I've only scanned them, but I've seen some names. I've seen a couple words, and I'm like, oof.
Oh boy.
All right. So who wants to volunteer to take question number 1? Let's do it that way. Let's each volunteer to take. Actually, right. Between the two of you, since I have the questions, and I'll be too biased about it.
Okay, Matt's got number 1.
Between the two of you volunteer. Who wants question 1?
I got you.
Yeah, Matt's got it.
Okay, Matt, would you rather share a studio apartment with Antonio Brown and Trevor Bauer for a week, or take a laser pass from Patrick Mahomes to the beanbags from 7 yards away?
Oh, wow. That's hilarious.
Oh, man. I don't know who asked this, but I would take the laser pass.
Apartment with Brown and Bauer.
No.
They're not going to do anything to me. What do they want with a scrawny Jew? It's fine.
No, Ethan, he's going to you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and Antonio Brown's going to be like standing over you like, fettuccine Alfredo is just mac and cheese, but it's not cheesy enough for AB. Throw the cheese to AB.
Oh my God. Amazing.
So
all
good.
Right. Great question.
He's going to have a knife in his hand.
Jesus.
All right, Ethan, you got this one?
Yep.
You can have only one meal for the remainder of your life. Tacos, burgers, or pizza. Go.
Pizza.
Specific kind?
Frank Pepe's.
Okay.
Yep.
Tacos.
All right.
Tacos would be good too.
We can go back and forth, or you can keep volunteering for a question.
I'll go.
All right. Does anyone actually like the show Friends, or is it just on all the time for no reason?
Great question.
Oh, no, at the risk of upsetting a number of friends of mine, they do like it. It's a religion.
Yeah, lots of people do.
I don't get it.
I've seen some episodes that are funny. I get it. It's come under a lot of scrutiny now because it aired from 1994 to 2004. And so when people look at it from a 2022 lens, they find lots of things that are problematic, which I understand, but also like shit, stuff is a product of its time. So like, it is what it is. But I've seen some episodes that are funny. It's all good.
Meh.
All right. I feel like I should ask this question to Matt, even though it would probably be funny if I asked it to Ethan.
But... If you want to ask Matt, yeah, go for it. Go.
Yeah. So if us three were to go spend a weekend in Vegas, who would lose the most money and why is it Matt?
Oh man, no, you guys have never been gambling with me, have you?
Don't think so.
I'm a tightwad. I get like.
See, I wouldn't gamble at all. I would be like, you guys go. I'm not fucking going. See ya. Like I would not.
Oh man, I'm like, I only enter a casino with how much money I'm willing to lose.
That is 100% true.
So I would only go to the casino with $50, and once I lost it, I'd be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
that's funny.
Now, let me reach down underneath my I would bring my blackjack cheater card, which is completely legal to have out. It just tells you what to do for everything. Like this column is like what you have, and this is like what the dealer is showing, and it tells you what to do. And guess what? If you follow these instructions, you still lose because the game is rigged for the house. That's how they make money. That's why they're called a casino. But this will get you as close as possible to the 50-50 odds that blackjack offers. But yeah.
Nice. That's funny. Are you going to tell us who sent in these questions afterwards?
Maybe. Okay. Maybe. All right. This question's for Ethan. Ethan, what instrument could you play with your feet, and when will you do it on a podcast?
Okay. So when you say play music, that's very, very broad. Because when you're asking somebody like me who has all of the training and experience that I have, there are a lot of things that I could play for you, whether I'm playing it or whether I'm showing you a recording. There's a lot of stuff I could show you that you would not think counts as music. There's a lot of really crazy avant-garde shit out there. Think of like Jackson Pollock, okay? Those art fans out there know that Jackson Pollock is a super famous 20th century artist. And it basically looks like he just took paint and he just like chucked it at the canvas and it's just like a huge splatter mark, right? There's music that exists that is basically that in music form, right? So that said, I could absolutely play the piano with my feet. It would just sound like a Jackson Pollock painting, right? It would be fucking just, it would be like a bunch of random sounds and it would be extremely dissonant and nobody would want to listen to it. But there is music like that exists, right? More realistically, you could play some drums. You could do some percussion with your feet, and you could actually make like decent sounds and decent rhythms with your feet. So maybe I'll do that at some point. Maybe I'll get some sort of percussion shit and do some beats with my feet.
What could you realistically do with what you have behind you?
With what I have here, like on me?
Yeah.
With my feet?
Yeah. Because you have to do it on a podcast episode.
Yeah, right. The stuff that I have here, like actually in my life right now, only piano. I don't have any actually, what do I have for percussion? I might have like a tambourine. I could tap on a tambourine with my feet. I think that's like pretty much it for right now. That's what I have. Yeah.
All right. Report back next week. We'll be waiting. All right. Who wants to take the next question? We got two left.
Ask it. Give this one to Ethan.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. You have the first overall pick in a restart up league. Who are you picking for the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball? Sorry, hockey.
Are people, is it people their age right now?
Doesn't specify.
Doesn't specify? We should say like right now. For baseball, I'm picking Trout. NFL, probably Mahomes. And NBA, how old is Giannis?
Young enough that you could build around him.
Yeah, Giannis, I think maybe would be up there, or like Zion Williamson.
No, Luka.
Oh, I guess he's real big, isn't he? Huh? I don't follow the NBA close enough. I guess
he's won the MVP for a second year in a row.
And he's really young, right?
Yeah, Giannis or Luka would probably be the in terms of building around young. I'm actually surprised you picked Trout in baseball. I figured you would have went with like Soto or.
I mean, those would be great choices, but it's Trout. He's the greatest of all time, and he's still only like 29, and he's only been getting better. And as far as we know, he's going to be this good for another 3-4 years. Even if it was only 3-4 years, still worth it, in my opinion.
Worth it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
To have the greatest player of all time, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. Now Acuna?
Acuna's cool. If I was going to go with a young guy, I would go with Soto, probably. Yeah. One of the younger guys, right? Yeah, I probably do Soto. But yeah, no, Trout is still it for me, no doubt. Okay. That was a good question. I like that one.
All right, Matt. Last question. This person spent the past weekend when they sent me this question in Pittsburgh and went to a Pirates game. And they said the stadium was so gorgeous, it almost made up for how unwatchable baseball has become. I don't know why they had to add that detail, but
that's fair. No, I think that's a good point. We can talk about that more at some point.
The question is, what is the best sports venue you have been to? In parentheses, this might be a repeat question from a previous episode. And I want to note that this person, their grammar is pretty decent, but the last two questions that they asked did not have a question mark after they had a period. So just coaching for the future. Yeah.
I mean, you guys are going to make fun of me for this. Lambeau Field.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Why would I make fun of you for that?
Lambeau Field was amazing. Did not feel like a 100-year-old stadium based on the atriums and the concourses they built and the upgrades they did. Oh man, that place was amazing.
Is this only sports venues? What was the question?
Yeah, sports venues.
I haven't been to any sports venues that I thought were that mind-blowing.
Yankee Stadium, the original?
Meh.
The original was crappy.
It was fine, yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of history, which is cool. But like in terms of, like for me, by far there are music venues that have been like much cooler to be at, like Red Rocks, for instance.
Okay, well, I'll say though, like the Legends Club seats I had last Labor Day at Yankee Stadium, that was pretty cool.
That does sound cool, yeah.
I ate freaking filet mignon at Yankee Stadium. It was free.
I want to add one thing really quickly, just to go back. So the Lambeau, and Matt, if you want to say more about Lambeau, obviously, but and that was a cool answer. But really quickly, just to tack on to what I had said about Trouty. So he's 30. He already has 2.7 WAR in 34 games. Like if he's on pace for like 12 WAR. Now, granted, he might not. I did it like with like 154 games. He probably won't play that many games. He might get hurt. Whatever. Point is, he's 30. He's like still fucking incredible. Like, yeah, it's insane. He has an 1123 OPS right now, a 227 OPS plus. Like, I think
he was leading the league.
Like he's on, and actually they're not even bold. So somehow he's not leading the league, which
he was at one point.
Like who the fuck has a? Yeah, maybe it's Judgy.
Yeah,
but he's. I mean, Trout's still the best though. So yeah, they won. Yep. So the Yanks are now 28-9.
Woo!
Yeah. So
let's go, baby.
Pretty good. I actually, now that we were talking about the records and stuff, I want to know what other years they have started 28-9. I'm sure there's a way to look that up, but 28-9 seems
whatever they were. So that's what they are now with the win.
Yes.
So what they were previously was what they were in 98.
Oh,
so
wow.
I don't know if they won the next game.
Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I mean, it would be so I was just talking with Andrew the other day, and he was saying how people are like, oh yeah, they're going to challenge that 114 win team or even the 116 win Mariners team and whatever. And I'm like, God, baseball was just so different then, and especially in 98, it was an expansion year. The pitching was super watered down.
Yeah, so steroid era, the height of the steroid era, so different.
Yeah. Like, I mean, they could certainly win. I think what the Red Sox did, in 2018?
Yeah, like 108.
They do 108, 100, 109. But you got to think a slump is coming at some point, just because the pitching is so good, and I don't know. The biggest thing is, like, I was listening to John and Susan yesterday. I was coming back from a game that I was at. Gil and the catcher that they got in the Donaldson trade, both injured today. They're like the two most major injuries that they've had all year,
which is like a huge stroke of luck.
Expendable players, like compared to what they've had especially the past
forever
2-3 years. Think about that 2019 team, especially. Like, it's just amazing that they have the health that they do right now, and if they can maintain that, then I'll say, like, okay, maybe they won't go through a major slump. But I just find it hard to believe that nobody's getting hurt at any point in the season. But who knows? I feel the specialness. The cool thing. So yesterday, Chappie was a little wild, and they ended up getting the win. And obviously, Judgy had a big night. Should have had 3 homers, and there were a couple other things. But they gave the championship belt that they give out. They gave it to Chappie, and Sweeney Murdy was talking about, like, that's a chemistry thing. Like, they understand that there were people who played better that night than Chappie did, but they understand how important Chappie is to getting where they want to be. And ultimately, he did get the final out of the game, like, even though he made it interesting and everything. And it's like, there's a specialness to this team right now. It's cool. I don't know if it's the Donaldson thing. I don't know if it's bringing it,
here's
whatever it is, but
I'll go back though. I'll say what's even more special though is after the much maligned Gallo gaff in left Gallo gaff. I'm going to start saying that
Gallow gaff. That's good. Yeah.
In left field where he missed what should have been a fairly routine pop up, and it created an extra 15 pitches for Savvy in a much more difficult inning. Michael Kay made a point to call out that as Gallo was running in, Severino pointed at him, clapped his glove, and said, "I got you."
Cole did that the other night too.
Yeah, and
when
Cole
IKF made an
IKF,
error.
and like, "I got you. Don't worry. Like that's okay."
I like that. I didn't see this.
He's not showing up his teammate. He's saying, "Make the next play, make the next hit." And
we pick each other up. All of us fuck up sometimes. We pick each other up.
That was important.
Yeah,
that's amazing. And I also here's what I want to say: if the Yankees continue this and they do win 100+ games this year, and they hopefully do well in the playoffs, are all the Aaron Boone haters going to shut the fuck up?
No.
And talk about how Booney is actually a good manager?
No, of course not.
Unbelievable.
They won't even give Cashman credit.
Of course they won't.
In a best case scenario, if they won the World Series this year overwhelmingly, like if they just dominated the entire year, like in the best case scenario, like a 1998 season, they would still not get credit because they would be like, well, it took them like 15 years to get another title.
I'd give Cashman credit. I wouldn't give Boone credit.
I give them both credit, 100%.
Yeah. This is what we talked about this when we were making our predictions. You cannot crush Boone, but you can also not say that he can't be responsible for them winning, even though Ned Yost really tried to make that happen in Kansas City. Like it's just not a thing. Like, say what you want about like what managers do and what they're responsible for and how much of an impact they make. Like it's just impossible to me to think that he is such a fucking moron when he's a third generation major leaguer and his family. Like the dude has more baseball knowledge than the three of us would ever have if we lived 400 years combined. Like,
and Cashman and Judge both vouched for him big time, which is all it takes for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time. Like Judge specifically talked about how he was a special coach. Oh, I'm not saying that he doesn't make some tactical errors, right? That's typical for managers and shit like that.
But there was a preponderance of tactical errors last year.
But
there's always been. He's always had see here's the thing.
His value is in other areas, I think, right?
Here's the thing with the tactical errors that drives me crazy is like that somebody's got to do a study on it, because I personally feel like that is so much attached to luck than anything else. Because like, okay, you take the dynasty years and you take like what Joe Torre did. Joe Torre was the same manager on the back end of his time in New York and pulling the same type of moves, but they didn't give him the same results as they did when they were in the 90s. Yeah. Does that mean he was a bad tactical manager the last like 5 years in New York? No, it just means like those were his tendencies, and they just happened to work out because of random.
Oh, you see, it was Don Zimmer that was really the reason.
Yeah, no, this is a great point.
I just like, I don't know that anyone is really as amazing a tactical manager as we may make them out to be. And I don't know that anyone's necessarily as bad as we make them out to be. I just think there's so much random luck that plays into it. And that luck is also just like the performance of the players. Like those dynasty players, even though they weren't necessarily the biggest names for the most part, for whatever reason, they had this clutch gene. But those teams that Joe Girardi had from 2008 to 2012 or so, that core that kept making the playoffs every year and won a World Series, they had the same opportunities to hit that walk-off homer or hit that big, game-winning hit or, pitch as well, but they just didn't do it. Does that make Joe Girardi a worse tactical manager than Joe Torre? Like, no, it's the performance of the players at the end of the day.
Then we shouldn't give Boone any credit for anything then, right? Like,
yeah, but it's not about the tactical stuff. That's not what we're giving credit or taking credit away for, in my opinion. It has to do with the shit that we can't quantify.
Exactly.
Right? Yes. Like this shit about that we're just talking about with Sevy, like being at Gallo, like I got you.
Yes.
Like helping to develop and managing run that kind of culture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that is the shit I think that the manager is way more responsible for. And if that shit is happening with the Yankees right now, that means they've got a pretty good fucking culture going on right now. and that shit comes from the manager. That shit's coming from Booney.
Yeah. And like, go back in baseball history. You think those guys don't fucking know what they're supposed to be doing, like on the field, like what they're responsible for? Like, they know what they need to do, how they need to execute. They don't need a manager to tell them, and whatever. Like it's like, all right, give me the fucking ball and let's go.
But that only goes so far. Just look, for example, the extra outs on the bases that the Yankees generated the astounding number of outs on the bases that comes down to coaching.
Well, so that's interesting. Yeah, because didn't they overhauled the coaching staff except for Boone this year, right? It does seem to be making a difference. It's really interesting. So
Reggie Willits is gone. He was the base running coach.
Except was it Saturday night? They could have swept the White Sox, and IKF inexplicably got thrown out trying to go to third when Judge was due to come up.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. But yeah, to your point, Matt, they've obviously been a lot better. But that's not Aaron Boone. Like that's just simply not Aaron.
But again,
Aaron Boone is not the person.
I have a problem giving Aaron credit then too. Like,
credit for what?
Like if it's not his doing, then like
the culture shit is his.
Why don't we
doing.
just hire someone who's like jolly go lucky, happy cultural manager?
That's Aaron Boone.
I
That's who he is.
Yeah, that is. I think that's the point. Yeah.
You literally just described who Aaron Boone is and what he is there to do. Joe Girardi was the complete opposite, and Brian Cashman did not want it for whatever reason, whether it was the communication with Sanchez or whatever it is. He did not want Joe and his like military style communication and just his style overall. He wanted a happy-go-lucky dude who obviously has a fire inside him, was a major leaguer himself, knows how to play the game, knows how to
fucking savages in the box.
Yeah, but guys, I don't know if that's what wins in October. Then
we're gonna find out, hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen a couple of years in a row. It doesn't.
Yeah, but still, that's not a good point though, because like Joe Torre is like exactly what Colin was talking about.
Yeah.
Joe Torre had like the same players. He had a few really, really great years. He had the same managerial tendencies for like most of his career, probably. And his success varied wildly.
He didn't have the same players. The 98 team was not the same as the 2002 team.
I mean, 98 and 02 were probably pretty fucking close. 05 maybe not so much, but he still had stacked teams regardless. He always had a great roster.
Not 96.
Yeah, he did.
They were ragtag in 96.
Oh my god. They had
Bernie, Paulie, Tino, guys. Jeter, ragtag,
Jimmy Key, Wade Boggs. How many Hall of Famers were on
that
that
team?
Wade Boggs, Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera. That's 3 off the top of my head.
We're going down. I think we need to say this for future episodes.
It would be kind of a fun debate in future episodes. All right. Well, that was some fun mailbag shit.
I just want to say I've never been super high on Aaron Boone, but I'm just not going to be that person who's going to be like, in spite of Aaron Boone, the Yankees won.
I'm not saying in spite, but I'm saying I stand behind my thought that we should have fired him this past offseason.
Yeah, I'm just as surprised as you that he is here and that this is happening.
I'm not
especially after what happened with the fucking Fries.
I'm not
like I was like, dude, they are the same team that we've watched the last 2 years. What the fuck were they thinking? And then all of a sudden they just now what's it like 23 out of 29 games that they've won or whatever.
Stanton and Judge are gonna get cold.
Yeah.
So unless the rest of the team gets their shit together.
Yeah, dude, could be rough.
Glaber's doing fine. They have way more. Donaldson's heating up. They have way more balance this year.
And actually, DJ, who I hate on, DJ has actually been okay.
Yep, he's been fine. It's not just that. That's the biggest difference. Last year, it was literally Judge and Stanton. That was it. Nobody else did anything. And I will say, the biggest thing, the addition by subtraction, getting rid of Gary Sanchez, more and more clear that was 100% the move they needed to make.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Good shit.
All right, boys. We made it to 10 o'clock. You think we bored people?
Yep. Absolutely. That's our job.
All righty. Well, we'll try to do this again next week. We'll see.
But we didn't get fired yet, so.
Podcat.
There's the podcat.